Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. In this session, we are going to uh, take an overview of the basics of Microsoft Word. So, starting by how to launch Microsoft Word. There are two ways that by using them, we can launch Microsoft Word. First, we can double click on the icon, like so, or we can search here using the Windows tab, Microsoft Word, or just Word. By clicking enter or double clicking the icon, it brings us to the welcome screen. Here we can choose one of multiple templates. In this course, we're going to work with only a blank document, and we have also the recent documents that we open. Okay, so we're gonna click on a blank document. As you see here, we have Microsoft Word. We have plenty of tabs dedicated to different things. For example, file, recent. We can open files from OneDrive. We don't need this in this course. Or we can use the browse tab to select a file from our computer to open. We can navigate to different folders in our document. For example, desktop, DPG. I don't have any documents in this folder. That's why they don't show up. Okay, so let's, for example, first English test. For example, open it like so. Okay, so let's open a new document, file, new blank document, and let's see what we have to work with. So here we can write simple words. For example, notice that it automatically puts the first letter of the first word in each sentence in capital letters. Okay, for example, hello, comma, my name is Muhammad Idris. Notice that it underlined my family name with red, meaning that it doesn't conform to any known word in the English language, which it doesn't have to be because it's a name. Okay, so when we right click on the word, it gives us suggestions. In this case, we don't need to replace anything. For example, let's intentionally misspell hello. We see here, it gives me multiple suggestions of what it thinks I mean. Let's choose hello. This is a useful tool for you. For example, when you're writing your thesis or another document, it checks for mistakes, for misspellings for you. Okay, so let's take this simple text, this simple sentence. What we can do with it, for example, let's select the text. Always select the text before you apply any changes to it. Okay, we can here drop down from this drop down menu, we can choose a different style with which to write. For example, Let's search for Times New Roman, like so. We can also increase the size of the font, selecting the size manually like this, or using these icons to decrease or increase. Okay, here we can change the style of the text further. We can personalize it further. Okay, here we have the outline, shadows, reflections, glow. For example, let's choose one of the predefined styles. For example, let's use this style. Okay, now we can also change the alignment of the text using these tabs here. From right to left, put it in the center, put it more towards the right, for example, or justify low, justify medium, justify high, for example. It gives you icons to know what exactly this does. Okay, we can also, for example, control the spacing between the lines. We're going to see this later. We're going to take a look at it later. Okay, so here in these tabs represent different styles of writing. For example, this is the normal style, which I have personalized it. For example, let's say I want to modify this style. Let's right click on the icon and then modify. Now we can rename this style and we can apply a lot of changes for it. For example, we can make it bold. We can choose to underline our text, put it in italics, for example. Let's choose a different formatting, for example, and let's click OK. Okay, now we have this our new style. Okay, now let's go back to the regular style. Okay, like so. Okay, let's choose, for example, now we move on to a different style of writing, which are bullet points. For example, I want to list a few key points about a product. For example, the advantages of using Microsoft Word. Now, notice when I use a line break, we can continue writing regular sentences. But if I want to list a few key points, the better thing to do is to list them as bullet points, as a list, if you will. For example, the first point is, it is really easy to use. For example, the second point would be that it is widely adopted. There are many online resources to learn from, and so on and so forth. Okay, now this is it's a list, but it's not numerated. If I want to numerate this list, I will have to use this tab here. Notice if you click the drop down menu, you can choose different styles in which to represent with which to represent your list. For example, let's use these bullet points. Remember, we can always increase the size of the font. For example, let's use 14. Another thing, for example, if we want to add pictures or shapes to our document, we can using this tab. We first have to go to the insert tab and then select pictures and then choose a picture from our computer. For example, let's use this picture, like so. Notice that we have a few points that we can use. We can drag like so to resize our picture. It works up to down and diagonally also, like so. We can also rotate the image, like so. We select the rotation icon and then we scroll with our mouse, like so. For example, okay. Now let's move back to regular. Okay, let's try to insert a shape. For example, let's choose this shape. Now shapes are not inserted directly. You have to draw them by dragging your mouse. Click and drag your mouse across, like so. Notice it takes us to the format tab. Here we can customize our shape. For example, we can change the outline color. We can change the shape fill. For example, let's change this shape fill. Let's use a green like this. We can add text inside our shape, like so. Select the shape, like so, and then right click, edit text. It shows us edit text because we already clicked on add text. That's why. Hello. Simple text. For example, let's select this text right here and increase the size, like so. For example, if I want to do a sort of complex shape, let's say like this shape right here, and then use an arrow, for example. One way, if I want to group these two shapes together, select the first shape, then press Ctrl and select the second shape, then use the group command, like so. Now they are treated as a single shape. If, for example, I drag this here, the arrow moves with this the elliptical shape. Okay, so for example, if I want to go back, I just right click and click on ungroup. Okay, so for example, let's say for example you want to write a sort of a document like a thesis, or for example, first thing we gotta do is to modify the heading styles. For example, your document should be divided into different chapters and sections and subsections. Okay, so let's say we want to use heading 1 for chapters. We modify our style like so. Heading 1. Let's leave it at that. Let's use, yes, 16, perfect. Okay. Let's use bold, for example, and underline. Okay. Okay. Let's start writing. Chapter 1. And then we move to the normal style. For example, let's use heading 2 for to denote sections. Let's modify it like so. Leave the name as is. You can change it if you want. 13, perfect. Let's use bold, and for example, let's use italics to further differentiate between the chapter and this section. Okay, so chapter 1. Let's give it a title, for example, Microsoft. Fantastic. Let's move heading 2. We already selected heading 2. Section 1. Microsoft Word. Okay. Let's, for example, write a paragraph on Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a program from the Microsoft Office suite. Let's do a line break. Used write documents such as journals dot 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 dot. For example, let's for example insert a picture. It doesn't matter what it should be, just like so. Let's do a page break. Let's insert a page break. This moves us to to another page. Okay. So I chose this so I can further differentiate the sections or the chapters from each other. Okay. Now let's, for example, do chapter 2. Chapter 2. We said that chapters are going to be in heading 1 style. Okay. Chapter 2. Let's talk about Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel. Fantastic. Okay. So here let's do a section and then a subsection. Section 1, definition. Okay, let's for example do a line break or do a page break. Let's insert a page break like so, and move on to the next section. I'm doing this to illustrate the what do you call it, the table of contents later. Let's do another subsection, another section. Now section 2. Uses of soft Excel. For example, let's do subsections now, just to illustrate the table of contents. I'm not gonna write much, just for example, let's use it 12. Let's do 11. Okay, let's for example underline it. Yes, for example, let's not write subsection, just calculations, for example. Now we move on to our normal writing style, Microsoft Excel. For calculations, let's do another subsection. Now we are heading 3. Now tables, for example, Microsoft Excel also be used manage, create and manage tables, example, like so. Let's for example open up Microsoft Excel. Then let's use a demo. Let's take a screenshot to insert it in Microsoft Word. So let's insert the picture. Here it is, screenshot mine. Like this. Okay, now let's do a page break. Oh, apologize. Just a note. If you want to go back, for instance, you made a mistake like I have here, we can always return using the arrow here. We can go back like so, or simply by using the Control Z shortcut. Okay, so here we just put the cursor after the picture that we have inserted, and then we do a page break like this. Let's, for instance, let's now go back to the home tab, use the heading 2 style here. Let's do another section, or let's move on directly to our table of contents. Now, before doing a table of contents, now we have to put the cursor before our first chapter. Let's now insert our table of contents. Let's move on to the reference tab, and our first choice here, the first thing that presents itself, is a table of contents. Now we have several different styles to choose from. For example, manual table. Let's choose contents here. Now you can see that we have our chapters, our sections, our subsections. Sorry, we have only our chapters and sections. We can personalize it further, like so. Let's here a manual table lets you further customize your table. For example, let's go with Microsoft. Chapter title, level 2, section, Microsoft Word. Level 3, we don't have a level 3 now. Okay. Now, Microsoft Word. Chapter 2, Microsoft Excel. We have definition, and then the uses of Microsoft Excel. So, for example, let's try, for example, now to reverse the line break.